If I had to start an Amazon wholesale business today, these are the exact steps I would take to make it profitable without doing drop shipping and spending tons of money on advertising and marketing, without walking around stores scanning products just to take them home to generate a few sales and have my living room filled with a bunch of dog toys and all this random stuff, and without going and launching my own private label brand from China and waiting months to generate my first sale. Over the past few years, we've built an Amazon FBA business that does over $1 million per month using this exact model. And in this video, I'm gonna break it down step by step to get you to start from your first sale all the way to having a profitable, sustainable, reliable income stream. Let's get into it. All right, so we're gonna keep this really easy, nice, simple to start off with. When you get into an Amazon wholesale business, you need something called a business entity. That is number one, right? You have to have a business entity. Why is that? So many people go and think that, hey, I can just start selling on Amazon as an individual. And while you can, there's no restriction for that. There's two main issues you're gonna run into. One, when you're doing this model, you are mainly dealing with distributors and brands. And those are businesses. And guess what? Businesses wanna do business with businesses. This is how they build trust that you're gonna be paying them. This is how they're able to extend net terms to you so you don't have to pay for your inventory up front, right? By having this business entity, it validates you as a business owner. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get your LLC or S-Corp open. It's a pretty simple process, right? You can go to the IRS website and go and fill it out, or you can use what I like to use is busy.com or LegalZoom, right? Those two websites can get it set up for you really easy. It'll give you what you call your EIN number, your tax number. It'll get you registered with your state so you can go ahead and start doing business. This whole process for most states, depending on what time of year, but on average, is gonna take you about 5 days from the time you sign up for it to be actually delivered and be active. 5-day process, right? That's it. Average price for this, $200, $300 in some states, really depends, but I've seen, if you do it yourself, it can be about $100 or so, but if you're doing it through one of these services, there's an upcharge for them doing the service, but about $200 to $300 is what I see on average. This is the first thing you wanna do. Don't open up your account yet, don't do any of that. Get your business entity up and running. 5-day process, don't rush the system. Number two, after you get that done, right? Next thing you gotta do is get a business bank account, right? This is how you get paid, right? And you want your business bank account to link, of course, to your business LLC. So you do this after your LLC comes in, right? Now, why you need these two things is because these are what you use to register for your Amazon Seller Central account. If you already have an Amazon Seller Central account, there's good news though. Don't freak out like I gotta go make another one. No, you can actually message Amazon in the support button, usually right up top, and tell them, hey, what's going on, man? I want to add on my LLC or S-Corp, my business bank account, and they can make that change for you. But just easier getting it on the front end. Business bank account process is pretty quick. It's the same day you get your LLC or S-Corp. You can go to them, submit those documents, and open up a new account. So really a same day process. Now, I always get a question like, okay, what is the preferred bank account to be using? Me personally, I like Chase, JP Morgan. Why? Just really easy to move money around. Like I like to keep everything super bucketed. So when money comes in from Amazon, which we'll talk about, I like to send one over to my self-pay where I'm paying myself, some over for inventory, some over for operating costs, some over for taxes, and just break everything up so there's full visibility on everything. Chase is really good because the movement's really quick. When I've used Bank of America and stuff in the past, it's been like a little tedious. So preference is Chase. If you're outside of the country, yes, you can operate this business from outside of the country. I like Mercury Bank or Wise. Those are two really good ones. Really simple. Okay, so now you have your business entity and bank account. You are about to make $1,000 in a minute. Okay, maybe not. But the next thing you need is your Seller Central account. This is where you generate sales, right? It's the Amazon account. Super simple. Sell.amazon. I can't spell today. .com. That's it. You go to that sell.amazon.com, you literally say, hey, I want to register for a professional account, which is $40 per month. And you go in and you just fill out the information. They're going to ask you for a few things. What you just got, which is your business entity information to know that you're a registered business. They're going to ask you for your business bank account, and they're going to ask you for some form of identification, passport, driver's license, whatever you got, right? They just want to make sure you are who you say you are and not trying to scam and pose as somebody else. So once you have, and this process honestly takes about 48 hours, not that long. So from A to Z, steps 1 through 3 is going to take you, 5 days. same day 5 days for LLC or S-Corp, same day business bank account, about 2 more days for your Seller Central account. Total of a week, you can now officially call yourself an Amazon seller. You haven't made any money yet, but you are a seller. Believe it. All right, so let's go to number 4, right? Now, a lot of people skip this. I can't tell you how many people, as soon as they just can't wait to make money. And this is where you end up making a lot of mistakes, right? You have to understand the marketplace basics before you go and start ordering products trying to resell, or you're just gonna be wasting money and it's just gonna be a bad time. You're gonna get disheartened because you're making mistakes. So you gotta kind of understand where everything is on Amazon. One of the easiest ways to do this is something called Seller University. Now, Seller University is provided to us from Amazon. After you have an account, you can just type it in the search bar on your Seller Central account, and it'll bring up a whole bunch of things, videos, written documents, walking you through everything on Amazon. Do you need to go through all of it? No, it's a lot of material. I don't recommend it. I would just go through kind of the main points, where my payments at, where my inventory at, all of that little stuff to understand how to maneuver on the back end of Amazon as a seller. Make sure you go through that so you actually know what you're doing. After that, you want to understand what I call front end basics, which is like, okay, that's all how everything works on the back end, but how do I read the actual data on Amazon? Some key things you want to understand is, okay, you should know what a title is for a listing. You should know, obviously, photos, how they operate, the sizes, all of this kind of like basic stuff you want to dive into. You could even chat GPT, it's pretty easy. You're going to want to know what a UPC code is, and I'll go over that. Let's just say I have no product by me right now. Do I? No, I just have a mouse, which doesn't count. But let's just say you bought something, right? When you buy something at the store, what happens? They scan it at the register, and it pulls up something on their screen. How that is able to happen is from a UPC code, which is a universal product code, right? Yeah. And what that is under that barcode is about 12 different digits. That is called a UPC code. That is a universal identifier, meaning that if I have my iPhone, right? My iPhone, if the same model, I guess it's 16 Pro Max, right? All 16 Pro Maxes in the US are gonna have the same UPC code. It's universal product code, usually based on like country, region, right? China or something, they might have something else. But in the US, it's gonna be all the same. No matter if you're buying a water bottle from Dasani, as long as it's the same size, it'll have the exact same UPC code everywhere. Those product codes is what allows you to understand or Amazon to understand what the product is. 2 products with the same UPC code should be the exact same listing unless they are different pack count. Now, how does that work? You can have different listings on Amazon all with the same UPC code. Imagine, I'll use this as an example instead. This lip balm from Lanier, they might have a 1-pack, they might have a 2-pack, a 6-pack, a 3-pack, a 10-pack. They might have duplicate listings of the same 2-pack, right? All of those will have the same UPC code because this product itself has the same UPC code no matter where you go. Amazon, Walmart, Target, your mom's house, your grandma's house, whatever, same UPC code. But on Amazon, how they identify different listings is something called an ASIN, A-S-I-N, right? So every time you go to a certain listing on Amazon, every single different listing has a different ASIN. No matter if it's the same product, no matter what. Every single different listing has a different ASIN. Please remember that, right? Another identifier you're gonna need to know is a SKU number. Really call it FN SKU, but you as a seller, right? You as a seller, you have your own SKU code. So what does that mean? Let's break it down. If you're selling this product, I'm selling this product, same listing, right? That means we have the same UPC code because we have the same product. We're under the same listing, so we have the same ASIN because it's the same listing. But as sellers, we create our own what you call SKU number. A SKU number is just an identifier that you personally have for this listing in your inventory, right? So let's run it back again. Same product, same UPC code, right? Same listing on Amazon, same ASIN. Different listing, different ASIN. Every seller, different SKU number, right? I'm going over this pretty fast because this is something you want to actually dive deep into. It's not really the point of this, but I feel like it would help you out, right? You're going to want to understand these basic things before you dive in, right? So you go through all of this and make sure, okay, I understand where everything is on Amazon. And the only other thing you're going to want here is just descriptions, like how descriptions work. Maybe I'll do another video on this, but not going to dive too deep into it. So to get started, you got your LLC, you got your bank account, you got your account open, you understand the marketplace basics. Now we are ready to start getting to the money. So number 5 is a good one. This is brand/product research. So this is when you actually start diving into understanding what types of products that you should be buying and selling on Amazon. There are 415,000 different brands on Amazon. Brands, not products. There are millions and millions and millions of products on Amazon. So not all of them is something that you want to go after in your wholesale business. The key is to be able to identify which one should I be buying and selling. So what you're going to be looking for is a few things. Number 1, you're looking for products with 3 or more FBA, which means Amazon Prime. It means they're utilizing Amazon for their delivery. Sellers. What's that? Okay. Imagine I had 1,000 of these bad boys and I'm selling them on Amazon. I have 2 routes I could go. I could either list them what you call FBM, fulfilled by merchant. What that means is every time I get an order, I'm going to throw it at UPS, throw it at USPS, and they're going to get it to my customer, right? Or I could say this, I got 1,000 of these bad boys. I don't want to deal with anything. I am going to now go and give it to Amazon. I'm going to give all these 1,000 units to Amazon, and what they're going to do is they're going to say, I know what the demand is for this. I know how many we need in Florida. I know how many we need in California, New York, Wisconsin, whatever. And they move it around the country, and that becomes Amazon Prime. That is how people are able to get their products so damn quick from Amazon. People always think that they're buying directly from Amazon, which is crazy to me. Here's the stat. 55 to 60% of all sales on Amazon come from third-party resellers just like me and potentially you. So most of the sales don't come from Amazon. But what they do is they handle the delivery, the fulfillment, which is in turn Amazon Prime. Or simply put, it is FBA. All right. Now, why you want to see 3 or more Amazon Prime FBA sellers is because what it signals to us is that this brand or product is allowing for resellers. When you see only 1 or 2, that generally means the brand has an exclusive deal and they're not allowing for third-party sellers. So you always want to look for brands with 3 or more FBA sellers. Next thing you want to do is you're going to be using a tool called SmartScout. One of my favorite tools by far. And what we use this tool for in conjunction with another tool called Keepa is a few things. SmartScout plugs into Amazon, which is store, and it's going to let you know, okay, going back to this product, it's going to let you know, oh, okay, this product sells 3,000 units a month, 4,000 units a month, 5,000 units a month, right? You need to know that because you need to be able to dissect and understand how many units can you sell. So how Amazon works on a listing is, let's say there's 10 FBA sellers, all at $29, right? What people sometimes think they need to do is come on that listing and undercut to 28, undercut to 27. And that is the wrong way to sell on Amazon. Amazon does something called rotate the buy box. Now, I'm not going to go too much into this, but I will give a high level overview. But we do have another video on the channel that goes into it if you want to take a look. But what happens is, let's say all 10 of us at $29. What's going to happen is Amazon will continue to rotate us in and out of the buy box, and we'll all share the sales. All things being equal in terms of price and quantity, everyone's going to get about 1/10 of the sales, right? Because there's 10 of us. So you never want to undercut. You want to keep it all leveled out, right? So we use Keepa and SmartScout to figure this out. SmartScout is a profit calculator. So we use this to find out, okay, how much we should be making per sale. We use Keepa to find out what is the most we can pay for a product, right? So how we use that is, let's just say this product was $29 today, but last week it was $18, right? And last month it was $25 or whatever it may be. What we do is look at the price history over the past like 6 to 9 months. And we're like, okay, what is the lowest price that it's been at consistently for like a week or two? And what price do I need it at so I'm still making profit here? Just not worried about where it's at now, 29. When it was at 18, can I still make profit? If I'm going to lose money at 18, I'm gambling now. We don't want to gamble. We want to have our numbers tight. So we always think about the worst case scenario. How much money will I make here? Am I profitable? Great. Everything else is upside. So these two tools in conjunction, they bring us a certain amount of data. They let us know how many units we can buy, price we need it at, right? Super important because once you have and the profit per sale. Once we have these 3 pieces of data, what that brings us down to, we know our monthly profit per product. This is super important, all right? You always start with the products. You need to know what you're gonna buy, what quantity, what's the most you can spend on it, how much money you should be making, because now you know if it's worth going to go and get into buying this product or not. If you're doing product research and you think, oh, I'm only gonna make $100, $200 from this product, it's not that enticing. But if you can go and find a product that I'm gonna make $4 grand, $5 grand, 10 grand, we got a product that even bring us $50,000 in profit per month. That's something I'm gonna jump, skip, hop, learn to fly, all types of stuff to go get that product. So you always wanna have these numbers down packed to know where the opportunity is, okay? We have a lot of product research videos if you wanna check them out down the channel though. All right, cool. So this brings us to number 6. We have a lot set up right now. We know what products we want, but the next thing we got to do is actually be able to find the brands and the distributors that carry them. Now, what you don't want to do is jump around from category to category. You don't want to say, oh my God, I'm looking at beauty products, then I'm looking at grocery, then I'm looking at sports, then tools, then home and kitchen, and no. Stay focused. Stay within 1 to 2 categories. Why? Because as you build that product list, the products you want to buy, you know what unit price, you know how many units you can buy, and what's your profit per sale. Now you're able to use that. We call it a profit cheat sheet, something we give all of our students. But with that profit cheat sheet, you can bring that to any distributor that you find, hand them that sheet, and let's just say you have 50 products on them. Even if they give you like 1 to 5 of them, you just created 1 to 5 new income streams. That's gonna be a lot of money, right? So when you stay in 1 to 2 categories, become a master and become super efficient in your business. So what we do is once we have all our products in 1 to 2 categories, we now go and find the brands and distributors that carry them, right? And we do outreach via email. That's step 6. So once we start picking out, okay, these are the brands that we can go after based on how much money they're making, the fact that they have 3 or more FBA sellers, and the numbers look good. We do a product research to find out, okay, this is how much we can spend per unit, how many units we can buy, and how much profit we should be making per month from this listing. Now it's time to go actually find the brands and distributors that carry them. Well, here's the thing. Let's just say I'm sourcing this Lanier product. I already know I got to go to Lanier for it. So I'm going to outreach to Lanier. Distributors are a little different. I'm going to go and find beauty distributors that carry a beauty product and ask if they have these products. So you're going to be doing both brand and distributor outreach. One thing that's changed in 2025, which you have to be hyper aware of, and if you're not, you can get completely, just have a bad time in this business, is when you deal with distributors, you want to go to something called authorized distributors. These are ones that are fully authorized from the brand to resell to you for you to resell on Amazon. That means they're going to have all the paperwork called supply chain documents and something called a letter of authorization that they're going to give to you that's going to say, hey, you are good to sell this product. And what happens is, if anyone ever calls your product fake or the brand ever tries to kick you off anything, you have the supply chain documents to prove that it's authentic. Maybe a few years ago, you could go to unauthorized distributors and have a good time, but as things change, authorized distributors and brands. So we got our authorized distributors and brands, right? We're going to reach out to them via email. So what you need to do is obviously get their emails, right? There's a few ways to get that. You can get it from their websites. You can also get it from, I swear, ChatGPT. It's that easy. Sometimes using AI. And then you can also get it from places like LinkedIn. But most of the time, what we use is a conjunction of ChatGPT and websites to get their contact information. Another tool that we personally use, and we teach our students to use, is something called hunter.io. It's a tool that can literally pull it, like all of the emails for a brand or distributor right off the website. I love this tool because what it does is if you go to someone's website, if it's a big brand, they'll have something like a support@lanier.com email. Now, you know when you email that, you're not talking to the decision maker. You're talking to God knows who, like their granddaughter or something like that. But when you use a tool like hunter.io, you're able to get in contact with the decision makers. And what does that mean? You're going to have a better response rate and be able to generate more money. So we always want to get in contact with the decision maker. Hunter.io makes that part super duper 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 easy. Another tool you can use is one called Apollo.io. This is one that we currently are testing to see how it competes with Hunter.io, but very similar concept, post the decision maker emails from it. And then from there, you have their emails. Now it's talking about all about doing the outreach. So with outreach, you can do a few things. You can do manual emails, which I don't recommend, but you can manually email all of them. You can do bulk emails, which is what we usually use. We use a tool like Gmass to email them all at one time. Or if you have hunter.io, you can actually use that to send your emails, right? We like to use hunter.io. And a new tool that we're currently testing is an AI tool called instantly.ai to kind of streamline the email process. Emails are bread and butter because what it allows you to do is reach out to a ton of brands and distributors at once without spending time like one by one by one by one by one. And for most businesses, what we see is about what we call a 10% hit rate. For every 10 brands you reach out to, or just brands really, you get one. Distributors is a much higher hit rate, like 30 to 40. But for every 10 you reach out to, you get one profitable one. So it obviously makes sense to do that automatically rather than spending time slowly outreaching to 10 at a time. So these are the tools we use to get that done. Those email outreaches will let you open accounts, and then it brings us to next step. Now you have brand and distributor outreach via phone. Now what's that? Here's the thing, right? Not every distributor or brand is gonna have a great response rate via email. It could be a small company, you could end up in the spam inbox, a bunch of stuff can happen. So what we do, but this isn't as leveraged, that's why we don't do it as much, is we'll jump on the phone, we'll give them a call. Now we only do this with brands and distributors that are either A, being responsive, but we have to give them a little push to do business with us, or B, we know there's a ton of money to be made there and they're not being responsive at all. We don't care, we're calling them, we're getting into business with them. So now what you do is when you reach out to a phone, it's pretty much the same thing you said in the email saying, hey, my name is John from Wisconsin. I run this e-commerce business on Amazon and I'm looking to start doing business with you and I'm looking to spend X amount of money with you. That's all you strategize on it. Now, there is a difference between brand and distributor outreach. I'm not going to get into that too much. I do have another video on that and we do talk about that a lot in our program. That's why I'm not going to dive too much into it. But just understand this, right? Distributors want your money. Brands want your value. What's the difference? When you talk to a brand, you flexing that you have 50K, 100K to spend with them. Can they push the needle? Yeah. But what they really want to know is what can you do for them to actually help them? So the key difference is being able to identify a brand's bottleneck is what closes more brand deals. Distributors, as long as you present them that you want to spend money on a consistent basis, they're going to like you. Like they're going to take you out, wine and dine you kind of stuff. But this is what we save the phone outreach for, to present ourselves in terms of the value we have or in terms of the money we want to spend with them so that we can close the deal. Now, after this, what you're going to have is a bunch of people that you can do business with. That's the whole point of this outreach. It's probably the least fun part of the business, but it's the most mandatory, right? Without leads, you can't do anything. But now we're up to number 8. We're going to start creating some orders with them, right? So what happens is there's two things that can happen. They can either have something called a price list, which is, if you remember the marketplace basics, it's going to be that UPC number, right? They're going to have a UPC number. They're going to have a unit cost for each product, letting you know, hey, this product costs this much. And it's going to have, sometimes it's going to have like the number of the quantity they have. Not always, right? Now, what that allows you to do is create orders from it. You can use that tool I talked about, SmartScout, to actually scan this list, because it's going to be an Excel. You can scan this list, and then it'll connect all of those UPC codes to the corresponding Amazon listing, so ASIN, and then it'll let you know, hey, this is profitable, this is not, and you can filter out that list to get to what's making the money. This is super efficient when you have super long lists. If you have a short list, I would just do it manually because it just leaves less room for error. But you can, once you create an order, you can scan a price list to figure out what you want to put on that order. Other way you can do it is, right now it is manual. If I'm working directly with a brand, it's usually manual. They don't have that many products. I can go pull out their highest profit, highest selling products from SmartScout, and then just make an order based on that. Now, when you're making orders, don't get disheartened if the numbers don't look good when you're first making it. Like, oh my God, their pricing is not good. Oh my God, no. Thing about it is almost all brands and distributors have room for negotiation, right? That price is what they ideally want you to spend, but there's room to negotiate. So when you present these orders to them, always have in mind that you want to actually present them with the price you want. So if it's at $50, I need it at 44. I'm going to tell them I need it at 40, right? So we can negotiate back up to maybe 43 or 44, right? So you ask for a bigger discount than you need, but you always have in mind, that's why we started with the brands and products, what price I actually needed at and the price I'm not willing to go past. Always understand there's room to negotiate. It's just about how you pitch and how you talk to them. I always call it painting the picture. I might say, yeah, I'm asking for a 15% discount, but this is consistent income for you every month. Is that not something that interests you if we can make this deal happen? I do like consistent income. All right, let's do this, right? It's all about how you position your pitch to them. And it's super important how you talk to them. But if you can, boom, you're able to negotiate the deal, lock it in. Now, after you're able to negotiate the deal, you are so close to the money, I could smell it, right? I could really smell it. But the next thing you have to do is get it shipped, right? So there's 2 steps to shipping. Number 1 is, generally speaking, you're gonna need your products to touch base at something called a prep center first. Prep center is just, this sole purpose of a prep center is to make sure that everything you ordered is received in working condition and they put it in its right, what we call pack count, right format. So if I order 1,000 of these, I'm not gonna send it to Amazon and say, hey, Amazon, check that in, start selling. Why? Because sometimes Amazon takes a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to fully check in your order. You can't go to your brand 3 weeks later and say, hey man, I ordered 1,000, I only got 800. They're gonna be like, I don't believe you. Where's the pictures? Where's the proof? Where's all of this stuff? Amazon's not giving you all of that. You can't just contact them and get that. So you want to go to a prep center because a prep center touches on a prep center. They check it quick, usually 48 to 72 hours. They check everything, make sure it's good, report back to you if there's an issue so you can go reconcile it with your brand or distributor. On top of that, if Amazon receives a box and it's all 1-packs, they're not the ones that's going to break it into 2 packs for you, 6 packs, 3 packs, but a prep center will. So prep centers are literally a midpoint in this whole equation. Generally speaking, they charge anywhere between like 19 to 90 cents per unit. You just add that in to make sure you're still profitable with that. And they handle everything A to Z for you. One of the biggest mistakes I made was getting a warehouse, taking on a fixed overhead of like 20 grand a month. And then on top of that, having to figure out how to prep our own units. Dumb. We could have outsourced it for 19 to freaking 90 cents a unit. Not smart. So please use prep centers. And also don't be the people like, I'm gonna get it shipped to my house to save money and I got my whole living room packed and my kids are jumping over it and my fiance is about to kick me out. Like, relax. Outsource to a prep center. Keep this business as light and as remote as humanly possible without fixed costs and without making yourself a warehouse worker. It's like a no-brainer right there. So once it gets to the prep center, they prep it and then they get it shipped to Amazon, FBA. So what they do is then put this bad boy on a truck, chop it all up, and then send it over to Amazon like, okay, cool, here you go. Now Amazon takes it and they handle everything A to Z for you. The delivery to the customer. If anything breaks or it gets misplaced, they reimburse you. So you're fully covered on pretty much making money as long as you did your product research correctly. And now from there, all you have to do is we get down to number 10 out of 11, which is called reorder winners. So what's gonna happen is some of your products are gonna be flying off the shelf, driving the profitability. It's almost funny how this 80-20 rule works so well on Amazon, but you'll see 80% of your revenue, 20% of your inventory, all the time. That 20% of your inventory, stay in stock. Do not go out of stock because then you're not making money. That's the name of the game. Reorder before I get out, take that cash flow, keep my profit, and just keep this cycle running. My losers, they could either be A, not moving as fast, or B, bringing in less profitability. Now, I'm not reordering those. My whole system is replace and replenish a more profitable product so my business gets more and more profitable month after month, year after year, and my revenue goes up. So I'm making more sales and more profitable in terms of my ROI and my business and my margin on my business. This is, I'm telling you, this is all you need to do. Now, here's the thing. Steps, you're gonna be repeating right here. Steps 5, all the way down to 10. Month after month after month, and it sounds so boring. And I'm saying it in that way for one particular reason. Because while you will be getting richer, you will be swimming in the cash. Here's the thing, you will not be a business owner. I'm sorry to break it to you. The only time you become a real business owner is when you can remove yourself from the business and it will still grow without you. You're not a solopreneur, you're a business owner. So here's this bad boy. And we teach in depth about this, especially with our students and even in like our workshops, anything. Scale. How do you scale this business? It's only 2 steps. I'll tell you this. You hire people to do all of this process and you find funding. 2 things I didn't learn for 2 years. Well, funding I figured out a little earlier, but hiring definitely not. You want to outsource this workflow. We do primarily the virtual assistants in the Philippines or Pakistan to do all of the work, the outreach to distributors and brands, the creation of purchase orders for you, the reorders, the tracking, making shipments, everything A to Z they do. So you can come from the top of the mountain, make sure everything is working fine, and then they're able to continuously grow your business for a relatively low cost. I've seen virtual assistants as low as $1.60. I've seen them as low as $2. I've seen them as high as maybe $6, but somewhere in that range, depending on what you need them to do, they can get this workflow done for you. That is powerful. That is what allows you to make more money while working less hours, maybe even like me working 4 hours a week on this business. That's it. Now, the next thing you're gonna need is funding, because you're gonna have one of the main other 2 problems is you're gonna have more products than capital. Good problem to have. Why? Because we live, well, you might not live in the US, it's okay, you can still do the business, but most of us live in the US. And here's the thing, in the US, there's a tremendous amount of business funding. You can get stuff like Amazon themselves will lend you money after like 60 to 90 days of consistent sales. 0 interest business credit cards, right? I've seen them as many as 24 months. You pay no interest. You're able to just fund it and they increase your limit and it'll fund your whole business. You can get business lines of credit. Where a business, they'll give you a line of credit that you can use whenever you have more inventory. This is what you want, because as you get more and more products, it's just more and more opportunity. If you have like 50 to 100 grand worth of products sitting on the table, you got 2 options. Oh no, you got 3. 1, you can sit on your hands and cry. Number 2, you could reinvest your profits and not pay yourself or pay yourself very little to fund the business growth. Or 3, my preferred method is you could use OPM, other people's money, to literally fund the entire business and you get to keep your profit. This is how we grew from doing 860 year 1, just one trick, to doing 3.4 million in year 2 and now doing over 12 million a year. That's all we do. Team runs it. We have a system built where they run everything. Find more funding and we just inject more capital and allows the whole business to scale. This is all you need. These 11 steps, I'm telling you, it sounds so basic, and that's because this business, once you simplify it, it really is just this. Finding profitable products, keeping them in stock, reordering the winners, and finding more funding to fund the growth of the business. Amazon does so much of the legwork for you, and this is why time and time again, I say it all the time, favorite business out of everything I do, and one of the easiest. Shoot, I hope this helped.